set of games between PranPineapple and Azrael. So here we go, we've launched in, and welcome everyone, welcome to the best of 5 set of games for the Australian Open between PranPineapple and Azrael. Now of course these two guys, you can see in the top of your screen, they are in Division A. This is Group 4, and this is actually their Round 1 games. They finally haven't gotten around to playing their Round 1 games, and I'm finally getting around to casting them as well. Now of course this, the settings for the first game, blind random, team random civilizations. So let's turn off the fog of war and let's see what map these guys have randomed. And as we can see, it is Oasis. They have randomed an Oasis map. And don't be fooled. Pran playing indeed. He is from Australia, so he's included in the tournament. Now up here to the north of the map, playing in the blue trunks is Mike, or rather, sorry, the clan name, or the clan tag is Mike, but we have Azrael, and he has randomed the Bretons for this matchup on Oasis. His opponent down to the south of the map, playing in the red, is Pran, and he has also randomed the Britons owing to the settings rather, being team random civilizations. Now in Oasis, oh boy, another Oasis game. We've seen some long ones, we've seen some short ones. For example, Byzantine 14 versus Mufasa, I think, went for over an hour, their game, when they were playing as the Teutons. Robo versus Braids went for about half an hour, I think, because Robo decided to go quite aggressive. And I think there have been um, some other Oasis maps mixed up in there too as well, which have gone for intermediary sorts of lengths. Hopefully this one doesn't go too long, because Oasis games can very easily turn into let's wall up the sides of the map across here and across here as well. Let's just sit back and boom, and then go for an Imperial Age warfare. Now, obviously, Britain's Imperial Age warfare is going to be super fun to see. I really, really love seeing the longbows, the elite longbows. Once you get all the upgrades, have a huge amount of range. It's always fun to see, and getting rams in there as well. It's always a lot of fun. But before we start speculating too much about that, let's have a look at the map. So Pran, he's got his berries down here to the south of his map. He's got one of his secondary golds, one of his extra golds out here to the left-hand side. Main gold sitting at the front of his base, going to be nice for him since he can plonk a TC down here in the Castle Age and be able to start gathering from the wood and the gold nice and safely. Another stone out here to the left, and of course the stone, pretty important on a Britain's War, especially on Oasis, where it's more than likely going to go to the late game. Hopefully, let's cross our fingers that we do see the longbows coming in from both of these guys as well. Another gold out here to the right-hand side, and Pran's actually lucked out because he does have a gold, one of the extra golds, not belonging to either player, out here to the right-hand side of his map as well. Now, how many villages has he sent out to wood, rather? Well, he sent 4, which could be indicative of potentially a fast castle, for example, which is exactly what I'm expecting to see from both of these guys. Mike, the blue player up here to the north, let's have a look at his map as well. Let's be fair. Let's go through both of their maps. Main gold at the back of his base, nice and safe and very good for him. Secondary gold also towards the back, and he's picked up an extra couple of sheep, which is fantastic as the Britons, since they do gather them super fast. Whereas his remaining gold, well, it's out here towards the front of his base as well. But again, like I say, if there's wall-ups going to be coming across this edge of the map and this edge of the map, then it could be super strong. Sorry, it doesn't matter that these golds are out on the front as well as one of his stones, because he's going to keep himself nice and safe, at least until the Castle Age, so he should be totally fine in taking that. And he does have another stone out here to the front of his base as well. Now, in saying that, normally I would expect to see Warlocks coming in, because that would definitely indicate that it's going to go to late game. But again, we have seen some games, we have seen some Oasis games in this tournament. Really nice timing on that ball, by the way. Super good timing. If he actually decides to shoot. There, now he's going to start shooting it. Okay, that's good. We have seen some Oasis games where they haven't walled. They have just happened to go to the late game because of both players have been really aggressive. And I can only cross my fingers that that actually happens now as well. Now again, there's not too much else to talk about. We can have a look at the relic placements, for example. One down here for Pran, he'll be able to grab that pretty safely, and I suppose I could give this one to him. This one looks like it could be within his grasp as well. Whereas the other 3, there's one at the back of Mike's base. He should be, sorry, not Mike, Az's base. He should be able to grab that nice and easily, as well as one here down to the, down to sort of the left-hand side, as well as this one up here to the western corner of his base. And he's collecting a lot of these extra sheep, and like I said, as the Britons, this is only going to propel him into the Castle Age that much quicker. So what I'll do, I've never actually done this before in a recording, but I'm going to fast forward just a little bit through the Dark Age. I'll stick it on 75 speed just to see what sort of builds these guys are doing, because if they are going for a stock standard Castle Age, we don't really want to be prattling on about too much in that case. So it looks like Az is grabbing himself Lumen. Is he going to be clicking up? Oh, okay, looks like he's going to be clicking up. Now, of course, he does. He's gone up on 22. Sorry, I lied. No, 22 population. One might be thinking, hey, he's not going to have the resources to click up to the Castle Age. And indeed, okay, he's not actually moving out to gold now. So I might just slow it down just a little bit here, because he might be wanting to go for some sort of aggression. If you start sending villagers out to gold, then, hey, it's probably going to be a fast castle. And we can see that Pran might be going as well. That list of moderators, worst one I've seen so far. Yeah, there are some that need to be trimmed, but of course not a lot of those guys actually tune into the stream anymore. But of course, what can we see here? Well, for Mike Azrael, that is, we can see a barracks being thrown up on the left-hand side of his base, potentially meaning he does want to be going for some sort of aggression. Switching over to Pran's point of view, who at the moment is on 24 villages, so 25 population. Maybe not looking like he wants to be going for aggression, maybe looking like he wants to go for a fast castle build as well. But into the feudal age, oh sorry, up to the feudal age goes Pran. So we'll have to wait and see what he does decide to go for. 26 population, so 25 villages. He has a few sheep left over and a few farms as well. I can only imagine that the fast castle is going to be coming in for him as Azrael advances into the feudal age. Is he going to be throwing up an archery range? Is he going to be throwing up a stable? What's he going for here? He's going for the archery range. Has he moved out to gold? Well, no, he has not. Is he going to be going for a fast castle? Well, no, he is not. What is his plan, ladies and gentlemen? That is the big question. And unfortunately, I don't actually have an answer to that just yet at all. Pran does have his scout buzzing around, so he can potentially bring it over here and scout out that, hey, Azrael's chucking up at an archery range. He's chucking up 2 archery ranges, in fact. Is he going to be going for some aggression? Is he going to be going for some archers? Well, no. Again, no gold being taken as of yet. He is running very dangerously close to that town centre, though, from Az. And now is Azrael going for skirms? He's going for some skirmishes. Interesting decision. Maybe anticipating that his opponent was going to be going fast feudal into archers. It's what you'd expect as the Britons, so getting out some defensive skirmishes, always a good idea, at least on on semi-open maps it is anyway. Defensive spearmen coming out as well now for Az, just because why the hell not? But Pran not looking at all like he wants to go for any sort of feudal age aggression. As we can see, his resources are getting awfully close to that 800 200 mark with which he needs to be able to click up to the castle age. Barracks being thrown down, maybe a little bit delayed, maybe a little bit late. We can see a blacksmith being thrown up at the back of his base, and he will be able to throw up an archery range once he gets his barracks up as well. Is he going to have the resources to click up? That's the big question. He's sitting on five, I can't count, 4 farms he's sitting on. He's got a few villages over on the berries, and he is taking some deer here out to the left-hand side of his base as well. So I can only imagine that he should be able to click up to the castle age very soon, once the deer villages, for example, drop off their meat. And unfortunately for this little Bambi at the back, he's bugging out, he's trapped, he just wants to get to his friends, he just wants to say hello. And there we go, now Pran's scout moving away so Bambi can rejoin his family. Over on the left-hand side, though, we see the skirmishes from Azrael starting to push out across the map, and just to see what sort of damage he can do to his opponent. Well, if Pran decides that he's going to go for a bit of a wall-off, which is what he's kind of doing with his buildings here, then unfortunately for him, he's not going to be able to do too much damage to Pran at all. Pran now clicking up to the castle age as well, getting out an archer, just a token archer for the time being. Obviously his economy a little bit weak at the moment, and this disruption that could be coming in, or that will be coming in rather, from these skirmishes from Azrael could prove to be a bit of a nuisance. Of course, skirmishes not really going to be able to be doing too much damage against the villagers here from Pran, but any archers that come out from him are going to be quite heavily and quite effectively countered by these skirmishes that are now coming forward from Pran as well. You have to leave us mods alone, wop wop. Yeah, Sci-Fly, maybe he's just jealous that he's not a mod, but he does have a point. I do have to go through and start trimming the verges a wee bit. Just got to get rid of some of these mods that haven't been haven't been in my chat for quite some time. Fletching now coming in for Pran as well. That's going to give him a little bit of an advantage against these skirmishes from Az. And once it gets into the castle age, of course, the that extra range that comes in for the Britons for free is going to be super helpful and pushing back these skirmishers that have now found a way into Pran's base. Of course, Pran nearly into the castle age now. 16 minutes 17 is what we're looking for as Azrael grabs fletching for himself now as well. Pran seeing if he can cling to this hill. Looks like he's going to be taking an awful fight. He's going to be losing at least one archer, if not two here as well. And now Pran switching a little bit, switching his attention over and starting to get DC, Dutch class, Smarthy, Gracie. Get rid of octagonal, of course. And a stable being thrown up now as well for Pran. One scout will be able to clean up this this meager amount of skirmishes that's currently buzzing around inside of his base. But of course, he's still creating the archers, and we can see he's got that extra +1 range on these bad boys for free. He has actually got a hole in his wall out here as well. Yeah, I think I will remove Gracie as a mod, as I have not seen her in my chat for quite some time. And the same can be said for Smarthy as well. Anyway, back to the game. Of course, the skirmish is still running rampant inside of Pran's base. The scout getting battered to death by the villagers here of Pran. And like I said, these skirmishes are just a mere nuisance, just a mere irritation. Sorry, a knight, not a scout. Just a mere irritation. For the time being, and one night we'll be able to come out and clean this up. And now Pran can start focusing back on his economy. He can throw up a town centre very soon. I can't actually remember what amount of wood town centres cost for the Britons. I do know they are 50% cheaper, so I should be able to do that math, but I'm following Nilly's advice and never doing math on stream. More and more archers coming out now as well. The crossbowman upgrade not really on the forefront of Pran's mind for the time being. This many archers will be able to push out and start doing damage to his opponent, but we can see that Azrael starting to tower up inside of his base, creating a bit of a wall off across here with his houses. Would have made more sense to start them from here since he already had a wall off coming in, but for the time being he's starting to spew across even more skirmishes, even more archers. Of course, fletching has been researched on these bad boys as well. But like I said, this knight doing the God's work, doing the Lord's work, and starting to clean up, or well, actually successfully cleaning up these skirmishes that were inside of Pran's base. Crossbowman upgrade coming in now as well for Pran, so he should be in a good spot to start pushing out and hopefully dealing some damage to his opponent. At the moment, he is sitting 6 villages behind Azrael. Obviously, he has spent more time advancing through the ages and such, but even so, 6 villages, it's a nice advantage. 7 villages now, that's a nice advantage for for Azrael to have here. And has he actually lost any villages, Pran? Well, I'm unsure. I would hazard a guess as to no. Foolish and Brittany B are some of the worst people I've ever encountered, so you should unmod them too. Brittany has not heard me say that, or if she has, she's not. Yep, she's having a wee cry now, Pyro, so congratulations. You've made Brittany have a bit of a cry. I hope you're happy with yourself. Azrael coming forward now. This is more or less what I was expecting to see. A little bit earlier on, perhaps, but it's happening anyway. Azrael coming forward and starting to wall up with stone walls. And I think, well, he's at least going to get this section plugged up by the time these crossbowmen and knight come over as well. He did lose one vill. Oh, shit. Okay, those skirmishes did a little bit of damage then. But even so, that does not account for the 8 villager deficit. But I don't think this... Now, this is definitely not going to get plugged up in time for as Wheelbarrow kicks in for him now as well. Let's switch over to his point of view. Is he anywhere near the castle age? Well, not quite. He doesn't quite have the resources to be able to click up. He's got a lot of wood though, and I mean with that amount of wood he could have put down a lot more farms and therefore got himself up to the castle age a lot sooner, moving out to take deer and throwing up a market as well down on the left hand side. This is a decent amount of army. I think Azrael would have been able to take this fight if he wanted to go for it. Of course the knight would have been able to get in there, provide a nice meat shield for the crossbows of Pran, but for the time being, once Wheelbarrow has been completed for Azrael, he will find himself able to click up to the castle age. Back at home, Pran still not sitting on any extra town centres, still remaining on the 1 for the time being. Maybe he could ask Az for some wood, because Azrael has an absolute shit ton of it. Oh, actually, there we go. He's chucking up his second town centre now, and Azrael is clicking up to the castle age. A couple of skirmisher and archer, or crossbowmen rather, heading around the right-hand side of Azrael's base as well, being met by a watchtower, which has been garrisoned a little bit late for Az, in my opinion, but it's okay. It's totally fine, as these guys are going to get cleaned up by Az's army as he brings it over from the left-hand side of his base as well. Third archery range being thrown up in the or just outside of the town center here for Azrael. So he's going to be up on three archery ranges against his opponents too. And of course, with a defense advantage, he should really not be worried about these crossbows, at least for the time being. I suppose the crossbows. Oh, is he going to get a villager pick? Yeah, he is. That's one villager pick. 36 villagers to 39. Obviously, this TC having about to be completed. There we go. The villagers are only going to start flowing out even thicker and even faster for Pran now as well. He picks off another villager. A little bit sloppy there from Azrael as he's left those villagers. Jesus, another one. Oh my god. As he's left these villagers and archers and units just undefended, and another archer popping out. That's going to be a free kill for Pran as well. I don't believe there's any holes in Az's walls for the time being. Of course, you know, palisades don't really stand up to too much of a battering from crossbows, so Pran could come up here and punch away into his opponent's economy in this area, but of course there's not really too much damage he'd be able to do to Az, since he does have a watchtower on his gold. He has a watchtower on his stone and wood out to the front of his base, and he does have a decent sized army here as well, with padded archer armor now having been completed for Azrael, and bodkin arrows still missing from the army of Pran. Castle Age upgrade. Here we go. Azrael grabbing the Castle Age upgrade. Crossbowmen, I can only imagine, will be coming in very, very soon. Please don't make me look like an idiot, Azrael. Let's switch over to your point of view and see what's going on with your resources. You've definitely got the resources to do crossbow, and you should have the resources to do bodkin, although have you gone ahead and researched something else that I'm completely unaware of? Well, no, you've just bought some stone, obviously wanting to get up an extra town center, and there it is, another town center coming up at the front of the at the front of Azrael's base here, and bodkin arrow being researched for Pran. He's bringing his archers to group up together because, you know, they are all brethren. They all want to be fighting as one. Crossbowmen and bodkin arrow now coming in for Azrael as well. 26 military to 24, and 43 villages now, sorry, to 39. And what is Pran doing with these walls? This is interesting. I'm actually unsure what these walls are accomplishing. That's sort of interesting. If anyone has any idea. Is he thinking about like a cutting and then a landing? No, he can't be. Okay, these walls kind of confuse me. If anyone has any bright ideas as to what the hell's going on here, by all means, let me know, because I'm quite interested to know. Anyway, 2 TC is going to be coming up for both players now. Yep, 2 TCs up for both players, and a university being thrown up pretty early on in the piece as well for Azrael. As his, I think his archers still do outclass and outtech. Yeah, they still outtech the crossbows here of Pran. Pran moving out to the right-hand side, completing the wall-offs here as well. Pran, yeah, again, I don't know what's up with these walls. Kind of interested to know, but anyway, he's going to get the wall-ups off to the right-hand side of his base, and it's going to be very interesting to see how this one plays out in terms of the crossbows now coming around from Azrael as well. I think he should be able to get these walls completed in time. Obviously, this is not the like the Forgotten Empires or anything, those expansions whereby the wall building speed has been decreased for a little bit. Super brilliant scouting. Yeah, I thought maybe that he anticipated that, you know, this forest doesn't extend all the way around or something like that. That's what I thought, but then he's left a hole here, and I don't know, it's confusing. Either way, Pran is inside the economy now of Mike, doing a decent amount of damage, picking off 1, 2 villagers. Is he going to get a third? No, that villager's managing to escape nice and easily and nice and safely as Mike throws up an extra town center towards the northern area of his economy. Of course, with bodkin arrow and 8 range, these town centers do actually get outranged by the by the crossbows, by the Briton crossbows, which makes me laugh every time. And now Pran's going to be able to take a decent fight here as well. He will be able to clean up this whole army from Azrael, as Azrael does manage to sneak his way in, picking off 2 villagers here from Pran, and now he's inside Pran's economy. Pran hasn't noticed just yet. 1 villager going down for Pran, 2 villagers going down for Pran, as he does get his army. Well, okay, no, Azrael is actually getting his army cleaned up inside of his base. And of course, there is a small contingency of defensive crossbowmen now coming across for for Pran as well. Bad patrol though, he's losing a lot of units unnecessarily here, and holy crap, that should have gone so much better for Pran, but now he's lost a good chunk of his army here, and now Azrael is still going to be able to run rampant inside of the economy of Pran. But of course the same can be said for Pran. Villages going down left, right and centre for both of these guys as ballistics comes in for Azrael. This is just absolute carnage. 46 villages to 47. So obviously Azrael's been doing a lot more damage to his opponent's economy than Pran has been doing to him as well. Owing to the fact that Pran was just before ahead by like 8 villages or something like that, I think it was, and now he's behind by 4 villages. So Mike, really, really successful trades here. Very nice picks, and of course we do have to remember that Azrael, I hate that he's got the Mike clan, it's pissing me off now, that Azrael is up on 3 TCs, whilst his opponent has only got 2 running from what I can see, and yep, that's exactly right, he's only got 2 TCs running for the time being, and Azrael has put himself in a really, really nice position here. 50 villages to 46 as the market comes up on the right hand side of Pran's economy as well. Walls being deleted, Pran's throwing up his 3rd TC out here towards the left hand side as he's kept his archers alive, he's kept his crossbows alive inside of his opponent's economy. But again, with TCs up on all the main areas, the gold towards the north, the stone and wood towards the south, there's only so much damage that Pran can do with his crossbows. And he's lost a villager. He's lost another villager Pran has out here. This market builder biting the dust, or biting the snow, rather. I suppose you could call it the snow here. As the Hillborn crossbows here from Azrael, again managing to get some really nice cost-effective trades, although I think maybe, no, this is still going to go in Pran's, not going to go in Pran's favour, I don't think. The Hillborn is working against him just a little bit. Nice trades here from Pran, but again, he is going to get cleaned up. His crossbows out here towards the northern area of his opponent's base, still not doing jack shit at the moment, and a knight just patrolling back and forth out here on the left hand side. 3 TCs finally up as well now for Pran, but 3 TCs have been what Mike Azrael has been working with for quite some time, as evidenced by the 8 villager lead that he currently holds over his opponent. But yeah, not really too much else to say for the time being. Both players are up on 3 TCs, both players are pretty much even on military account, but again, Azrael just taking more effective and more efficient trades. He's moved out to stone, he's been mining stone for quite some time, and if we switch over to his point of view, he's nowhere near being able to build a castle, but if he can build a castle, he's throwing up an extra TC out here toward the left hand side, so 4 TCs to the 3 in favour of Azrael here. So this villager lead that he currently holds should potentially and theoretically be able to be extended just that little bit as well for him as the game goes on. And more tussles, more Trans-Tasman tussles coming out here on the right-hand side of Pran's economy. Again, Mike Azrael just clinging to the hill, getting some nice getting some nice army trades. And of course, +1 armor has actually been researched for Azrael as well, whereas the same cannot be said for our red player in the south of the map, Pran, and he does actually have quite a few idle villages. He's got a 6th of his economy at the moment idle, which is a little bit unnecessary and a little bit sloppy from him as well, as he starts mobilizing his army towards the north of the map, and he gets a nice villager pick there. Azrael's reaction time pretty super strong there though, as he brings 2 extra villagers out of harm's way, and this is really, really irritating for Azrael, as he now cannot safely move out to take these farms or to take this gold, since those crossbows from Pran are still there and being really, really annoying. Level N? What is level N? I'm a little bit confused. Azrael's now moving his crossbows around to see what sort of damage he can do to the southern area of his opponent's economy. And is this finally going to be the trade? Obviously, the crossbows here from Azrael were reinforced by another group coming down from the northern areas of the map. Pran should have been able to clean this up quite a while ago. He's lost a lot of military, he's lost a lot of villages to these handful of crossbows here from from Azrael. God, that's annoying. From Azrael. And of course, he does have the defender's advantage, so I would have thought that that should have been enough to warrant cleaning this up. Clinging to the hill again is Azrael, and once again, he's probably going to be able to take this fight. Yep, Pran's having to get the heck out of there. He knows he can't take it. And just look at the beautiful arc on these arrows as they start attacking needlessly this house. Town Watch now coming in for Azrael as well. That's going to help provide just a little bit extra visibility to be able to find these pesky units from his opponent. And again, like I say, Azrael, with the upgrade advantage, is going to be able to clean up that army of his opponents inside of his base, as now it looks like he actually is finally going to get cleaned up inside of Pran's base. Pran finally having had enough, clinging to the top of the hill, and with crossbows firing in from behind this army here of Azrael. Finally, the army inside of Pran's base is cleaned up. 75 villages to 71. Obviously, the longer the game goes, the 4 villager, or the less significant a 4 villager deficit actually is. But for the time being, 4 TCs, I believe 4 TCs still having been done for Azrael, whereas 3 TCs seems to be the name of the game here for our red player Pran, as both of these guys looking awfully close to being able to click up to the Imperial Age. Azrael getting close, Pran doing a little bit of market magic there as well, setting just a couple hundred food away, a couple hundred gold away, and he should be up in a really nice time. Handcart now coming in for Azrael as well, so he should be into the Imperial Age very soon as well. A couple of siege workshops now being thrown up in a, maybe a little bit late I would say, but a couple of siege workshops being thrown up in a defensive position for Pran inside of his base. And again, he will be looking to click up to the Imperial Age once these buildings are completed, and he grabs a little bit extra gold. Mike Azrael, on the other hand, having clicked up now as well on 82 villages. He sits as he upgrades. 81 villages for Pran. Both of these guys neck and neck up to the Imperial Age. 13 seconds difference behind them, with between them rather, with only 1 villager difference, which tells me that potentially Azrael maybe idled his TCs a little bit, since he obviously has had more TCs working, so should have higher villager count. But of course, obviously with more TCs, you're spending 50 extra food in this case over your opponent every 25 seconds, so maybe that accounts for it as well. Archery range now being thrown up here on the right hand side of Pran's economy, as we can see padded archer armor and ballistics finally coming in for Pran as well. Remember, those upgrades have already been researched for Mike, and he should really wall behind this tree, as I'm pretty sure a tree hop could be imminent. We'll have to keep an eye on this little bad boy here out on the right hand side of the base, or of the map. The right hand side of the map here, as that could be super fun to see. And Azrael continuing with the stone wall trend out here to the left hand side as well. He wants to take this into the late game. He wants to make it a post-Imperial war, and at the moment he's sitting pretty on 3 archery ranges as well. I think the thing that he's really going to suffer here is that he just does not have the siege workshops, and that's really what he needs. Siege workshops are going to be super strong when it comes to soaking up all those the rams that come out of the siege workshops are going to be super strong and soaking up all that arrow fire that is impending, that is almost inevitable when we consider a post-Imperial Britain's war. Contingency, is it even a contingency when it's this much? A good group of archers moving out now as well on the right-hand side of the map for Pran. He's going to find that his opponent stonewalled up on the right-hand side, which is something he should have anticipated, since his knight has just picked off a villager that was trying to complete the stonewalls out here on the left-hand side as well. And Pran now recognizing that, hey, I can't get through this area for the time being. Please tell me he is sending a villager! He's sending villagers! I shouldn't get too excited. It might not be for a tree hop. It could just be for siege workshops to bust his way into his opponent's economy. And damn, yeah, it is a siege workshop. That's disappointing. I want to see the tree hop. I want to see if this tree is indeed hoppable. Bracer now coming in as well. For both players, as well as Arbalest and Chemistry for Azrael. So upgrades all round, upgrades all over the place. We can see already +4 range having been upgraded for free on these Breton foot archers. And again, this is going to be so much fun to see the impeccable, just insane range that these guys have. Azrael now building a castle as well. Is he doing it out to the left? Well, yes, he is. The proxy castle with 1 villager being built out here toward the left-hand side. Pran also getting the elite skirmisher upgrade now as well as capped ram. This is just going to be fantastic. Oh, I missed it! Shit! I missed it! No! I was so excited! And I was busy focusing on the fucking castle. No! I missed it! Ah, damn, that annoys me. But either way, the tree hop, the cheeky move, tree hop has been done for Pran here. Damn it, I missed it. God, I'm upset. Oh, I'm such a scrub. God damn it. But anyway, out here on the right hand side, we can see all the archer upgrades coming in as Pran now starts to move his way into his opponent's economy. 104 villages to 95. Like I said, at this stage, the Britain's not exactly an expensive civilization. Pretty easy to keep the old military production pumping when you're only going for archers and rams and such. You don't need a lot of villages to be able to or to have such a big food economy to keep that going. And a lot of villages here from Azrael starting to be idled as well. Another siege workshop being thrown up on the right hand side, and these arbalists are doing economy damage after economy damage after economy damage. I saw the beginning of it. Damn it. I'm so upset. But either way, we know the tree hop happened, so we don't need to focus too much on it at all. We should just move on, move past it, move past the mistake. Mistakes were made, and unfortunately I was the one that made them. Cat rams now coming in as well on the right hand side. We saw a couple of rams. Yeah, well, one ram, and some siege workshops being thrown up on the right hand side of of the map here for Pran as he still moves he tentatively moves a small group of his arbalists in. These will get cleaned up by the arbalists here of Azrael. Are they even on upgrades? Well, yes, they are even on upgrades. No Yeoman, and obviously I don't think conscription has come in for Azrael as of yet either. Now the elite skirmishers and the capped rams here are really going to turn the tide, really going to be able to push these fights in favour, or in Pran's favour rather. Ring archer armour coming in as well for the final defensive upgrade on these archers. We can see already 5+5 range on these arbalists, absolutely huge. That will go up to 11 range once a human is upgraded from the castle. And of course, we haven't quite seen longbows just yet. Obviously, arbalists do shit on longbows, at least in the early Imperial Age. And now Pran knows that there is a castle out here on the left-hand side as well. So he's going to have to just be a little bit careful, a little bit more careful pushing in on the left-hand side. But like I was saying, early Imperial Age, arbalists absolutely dominate longbows because obviously they just outmass them. It's much easier to mass up arbalists than it is to mass up longbows, for example. But once the Imperial Age continues on and flows on for just that little bit more, then the longbows do really start to come into their own. And of course, the huge 12 range. I think it's 12. Pretty sure it's 12 range. Maybe it's 13. The huge range that that those guys get on them as well is just super strong. And we can see a siege workshop now being thrown up on the right hand side of Mike's economy. What's this blinking going on down the left? Well, Pran finally recognizing that there is a castle barring his path into his opponent's economy out here on the left, and it looks like he's just changing his gather point, bringing them either back round to the right hand side or bringing them back just a little bit. Azrael going for a lot of market abuse here, abusing the crap out of the market. What upgrades is he looking to get here? Well, he's got a crap ton of food. He probably doesn't need that much food. In fact, he definitely doesn't need that much food. Could sell a good bit of that off as well. He's starting to lack a little bit on the wood. We can see he doesn't actually have that many woodcutters for the time being. Obviously, a lot of the eco from him out here on the left, or toward the north of his base, was idled and harassed just a little time ago. Cat Ram having been researched for both of these guys, and unfortunately for the Britons, that's as far as the Ram upgrades go. But of course, the Ram numbers are more heavily in favour, I think, for Pran here. Of course, he does have some forward siege workshops. Putting in some more down here would be super strong for him as well. But we're about to see the first engagement of arbalists, elite skirmishers, and rams here from Pran against the arbalists and rams, or cat rams rather, from Azrael. And again, the ram numbers here quite heavily in favour of Pran, but the defender's advantage should start to pay off the longer these sorts of siege ram fights, or sorry, ram fights, kept ram fights rather, go for Azrael. And of course, these elite skirmishers are going to be able to provide a little bit of a meat shield for Pran as he starts pushing in and starts whittling away and starting to take down the army here of Azrael. Just keeping a quick eye on the rest of the map. Doesn't look like there's anything else going on. No more siege workshops, no more archery ranges being thrown up on the front. But for the time being, Azrael taking a decent fight out here to the right-hand side of his economy. And he's pushed back the first foray into, well, I suppose the second foray rather, into his base. The second excursion into his base that Pran tried to elicit.
My anaconda don't want none unless you got buns, hun.
Thank you very much for the follow, and I still have not turned that down, Pyro, so have fun having your ears bleed. Attacking Rams indeed. And now we can see that the Rams from Azrael actually starting to push back, and Onager coming in for Pran as well. Now Onager is going to be super effective against the Rams from his opponent, but they are going to be very easily taken down by the Arbalists here. Again, I reiterate, 10 range on these bad boys, and obviously the Onagers are going to be able to be quite easily taken down, but it will take quite a lot of micro if a good number of Onagers do come out, and we can only cross our fingers for a decent number of for a decent number of Onager shots coming in on these ranged units as well. I would like to see more siege workshops coming up on the front on this right hand side for Pran, obviously just to help reinforce his army that little bit more, but a big fight coming in here as well. The elite skirmishers soaking up a lot of arrow fire from these arbalists, and Mike Azrael rather recognizing that, and he's starting to get the heck out of there. He doesn't want to lose too many more military. In fact, he is 40 military to 64 in the not in the lead, in the non-lead. Yeoman finally coming in now for Pran for that +1 range on these guys as well. Keep your butter booms ready. Exactly. I'm very ready for these butter booms. We can see the Onagers now coming out as well for Pran, and these could be super strong if he gets some decent shots away. Of course, he is going to focus fire down these Rams first of all, which means that he's going to give the intel to his opponent, and now Azrael knows that his opponent does have Onagers out, and I don't think this is in response to it technically, but he is getting scale barding armor and husbandry, potentially looking to switch into light cav and or cavalier as well, just to provide some sort of a counter against these elite skirmishers that Pran is currently fielding. Out on the left hand side, any cheeky business? Well, yes, we can see some funny business from Azrael as he throws up a couple of siege workshops and another archery range as well, looking like he wants to start punching a hole into his opponent's economy out here on the left hand side of the map. Defensive castle on a hill. Again, Ed Sheeran would be proud with this castle here, having been thrown up in anticipation of any sort of tomfoolery coming in here from Azrael on the left hand side. Light cavalry, there it is. So it's a light cav upgrade that Azrael wants to go down here in order to try and counter these skirmishes. And of course they are going to be fantastic counters against the skirmishes, going to be fantastic counters against these Onagers. Against the Arbalists, they're going to get absolutely shredded. And elite skirmisher as well coming in now for Azrael, as maybe he thinks, hey, let's get even more trash out there, because that's going to be fantastic to be able to help as the game progresses. Of course, neither of these guys have actually collected relics either, so neither of them have that passive gold income if the late game if the late game is something that will be happening. Siege engineers coming in for Azrael as well, now obviously giving a bit of a boost to his siege units. Cap Rams now starting to move in one by one, little by little here from Pran. But again, for the time being, I'm sort of focusing out here on the left-hand side. A couple of forward houses being placed down from Pran, so he is at least going to be aware to the fact that there is some sort of a military presence outside of his base on the left-hand side. But I think for the time being, the majority of his attention is focused out here on the right-hand side. He wants to get some decent trades. I don't think Blue has a Yeoman. I'm pretty sure he does not. Nope, no Yeoman done for Blue. Whereas for Red, we can see the 5+6 on his Arbalists. So no, Blue does not have Yeoman yet, unfortunately for him. He's throwing up another castle out here toward the left-hand side as well. Like I said, Pran should be aware to this. He should be able to, yeah, he's starting to queue up some military production and start getting some military presence out here on the left-hand side as he continually focuses his attention out here on the right-hand side as well. The Onagers, can they get some nice shots? Well, so far they're taking down a university, they've taken down some light cav, and they've taken down some Cap Rams. So for the time being, he's getting some decent trades with these units. Azrael recognizing that he needs to go on staggered formation, spreading his units out to minimize the possibility of a huge Baba Boom. Unfortunately, he doesn't want the viewers, he doesn't want my viewers to have fun, at least not at the expense of all of his army anyway. A handful of arbalists out here to the right, to the northern area of Azrael's base as well. Just, picking on this lumber camp, because lumber camp lives don't matter at all. We don't care about lumber camps at all. This is great. Walling in the base of his castle is Pran. I think this is what Chris used to do. Actually, I think Chris really popularized this sort of method here, walling in the base of your castle just so the Rams can't get to it straight away as well. And I don't think we saw any big shots here on these Onagers. My mistake that I tuned away from the fight up here to the northern area of the map. This siege workshop falling prey to the Onagers and Arbalists and elite skirmishers here of Pran, and I can't see too many dead units. I can see dead units here, but that's because the Arbalists here from Pran picked them off easily, willy-nilly, and unfortunately for him, he did lose his onagers out here on the front lines as well. I can only imagine to Lightcav getting up in the face of them, or maybe some really, really well-timed snipes and well-chosen snipes that came in from Azrael. Azrael sneaking a couple of Arbaleths inside his opponent's economy as well, and now the onagers are being focused down over here to the left-hand side of Pran's economy. These cat rams not going to stand up to too much of a battering from villagers, as well as as well as onagers, and unfortunately for Azrael, it's starting to look a little bit dicey as he doesn't look like he can hold the lines out here toward the right hand side of his economy. He researches onager now as well in a last ditch effort to be able to take down the army that's pressing ever more present into his opponent's economy, and really it's because he started investing a lot more resources into the push on the left hand side that he didn't have as much military presence out here on the right hand side, and it didn't pay off down here to the left hand side either.
My anaconda don't want none unless you got buns, hun.
Thank you for the follow. He didn't do enough damage, didn't push in, at least for the time being, out here on the left-hand side, and Pran now able to freely roam into his opponent's base out here on the right. Down here we do see a treb war, 2 trebs to 1 in favour of Pran, as well as an onager firing upon the treb, and this treb is GG, and it's only a matter of time now before this castle on the hill as well gets picked off by these 2 trebuchets, and as Pran is now moving unhindered and completely and utterly freely into his opponent's economy at the north of the map, we can only see that it looks like it could be time to shake your opponent's hand if you're in the boots of Azrael. He's grabbing Yeoman now as well to grab that extra +1 range. I clicked on the wrong unit, that +1 range on his Arbalists. But again, like I say, I think it's a little bit too little, too late, as he has lost his castle out here to the western side of the map. He is getting pushed back on the left. He's getting too heavily pushed and raided on the right-hand side. His main economy is all but destroyed, and he only has a small settlement, a small economy to fall back on out here as well. So now Pran can push forward on the left. A nice few onager shots coming in here, going to be able to clean this up as well. And then Pran can start pushing in on the left. He can start pushing in on the right, and Azrael recognizing the situation and calling GG on this first game in the best of 5 series between himself and PranPineapple. So Pran taking the first game there 1-0. So let's change the score overs to reflect that fact, and there it is. The scores have been switched over. Let me quickly actually adjust Azrael's name, because that should be a bit higher up. And now let's switch the scene back over to the Australian Open overlay, and I'll see you guys very, very soon for the second game between these 2 guys.